Today, we are going to learn how we can read line plots. The important thing to remember when you're reading a line plot is to really think about what the question is asking you. Let's look at the problem that we have and some of the vocabulary. First of all, a line plot just shows data along a number line. Each dot above a point in the line represents one number in the data set. And then we have an outlier. An outlier is any number in the data set that is very different from the rest of the numbers. That word different kind of helps you decide. The table shows the distance Eli walked his dog each day for 7 days. We want to find out, how would a line plot help you identify any outliers in the data? So if we look at the distance he walked his dog, on Sunday he walked 1 mile, on Monday he walked a half a mile, on Tuesday he walked 1.5 miles, on Wednesday he walked 1 mile, on Thursday he walked 1.5 miles, on Friday he walked 3 miles, and on Saturday he walked 1 mile. So we're going to read the line plot. So we have put the numbers in order from 0 to 3 by using halves. So we have 0, 1/2, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3. So if I look at the numbers, I'm actually going to erase what I highlighted, and I'm going to highlight the same numbers in the same color. So for example, we have 1 on Sunday, 1 on Wednesday, and 1 on Saturday. We have a half on Monday, that's our only half. We have 1.5 on Tuesday and Thursday, and then we have 3 on Friday. So now if we're looking at our number line in part B, I can see that for 1/2, since I highlighted it yellow, there's only 1 yellow. For the 1, since I highlighted it blue, there's actually 3 dots for the blue. The green I used for 1/2, there's 2 dots for the green, and then we have all the way over here 1 red. Since the red one is further away from the rest, we can see that 3 is going to be our outlier. The most dots are above the 1 on the line plot. You can see that there's 3 dots above the 1. The most common distance is 1 mile. So most common, that's how for the most times he walked 1 mile a week. The longest distance is 3 miles. That's the furthest that he walked. And the shortest distance is a half mile. That is how we're going to be reading this line plot. Now, on part C, where it says identify the outliers, the dot above the 3 is far away from the other dots on the line plot. You can see that right here. The distance Eli walked his dog on Friday, 3 miles, is an outlier because it's a lot further away. Let's look at the convince me on the bottom of the page. So we want to put 4 dots on the line plot below, so 3 is not an outlier. How will you decide where to place your dots? Well, if we don't want 3 to be an outlier, we can place our dots on the 2 and the 2.5, and we can put 2 on each, or we could put 3 on one, or all 4 on one. But as long as we put some dots in between 1.5 and 3, then 3 will not be an outlier. Let's do the guided practice together. In the problem on the previous page, how do you know the distance Eli walked on Friday is an outlier by looking at the line plot? Well, we've already talked about this, but the reason that we know is because the outlier is further away from the rest of the numbers. Highlight this sentence in your book, or sorry, not highlight, but write, the outlier is further away from the rest of the data. If you're listening right now, underline the word do. All right, number 2. If a line plot represented 10 pieces of data, we want to find out how many dots would it have. Explain. Well, if it represents 10 pieces of data, then it would have 10 dots. Each dot would represent a data point. So if there are 12 pieces of data, it would have 12 dots. If there's 100 pieces of data, it would have 100 dots. So however many pieces of data it represents, that's how many dots it would have. All right, for numbers 3 through 6, use the line plot. So we want to know how many giraffes are 14 feet tall. So we're going to look at 14, and we can see 2. So our answer is just 2. All right. Number 3, and remember when you're reading these, make sure you're just paying attention to what the question is asking. Sorry, number 4. What is the most common height? So if it's asking for the most common, that's going to be which one has the most dots. So it looks like 15 feet is the most common. So we're going to write 15, and make sure you put your label feet. For number 3, we should have put giraffe, so I'm just going to put a G for giraffes. All right, we are on number 5. How tall is the tallest giraffe? Well, if we look at how tall, feet, there's 18 would be the tallest. So the tallest giraffe would be 18 feet, and there's 2 of them, but that's not what the question is asking. It's just asking how tall is the tallest giraffe. And then it wants to know if 18 feet is an outlier. Well, in this case, I would probably say no, it's not, just because they're only 1 apart. An outlier would be further away. So if like one giraffe was 20 feet, then that would be an outlier. Go ahead and do the problems on page 593, and then come check your work.